Study guide. Here are the solutions. Number 1 is in standard form. So I start with A equals 1, B is equal to 8, and C is equal to 18. I then write down negative B over 2A, and B is 8, and A is 1, and I solve it. Then when I solve it, let me find my other pen. Where's my other pen? There it is. Thank you. That's your axis of symmetry. So find negative 4 and draw a vertical line there. It's going to split your parabola in half. That's where the vertex will be on that line. Then we write down y equals, and we take that number negative 4, and we put it back in the equation. So wherever there's an x, put in negative 4 and solve it. So negative 4 times negative 4, 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. I think it's helpful to add the positive numbers first. 18 plus 16 is 34. And then 34 take away 2 is 2. So from here, count up 2. And the last thing we do is apply the A. That tells me I'm going to go up into the right and up into the left one. There it is. And then draw it from there. Let's try it again. How do I start? A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 8, and C is equal to 12. Next, write down the formula, negative B over 2A. So we write down negative B over 2A. Plug in negative 8. So we'd go negative, then negative 8, 2 times 1, and then solve it. That's positive 8 divided by 2. So I find where 4 is and draw a line there. Next, write down y equals, and then put 4 into the equation and solve it. Sorry. If I solve it, I get negative 4. So count down to negative 4. Put your point there. And then A is equal to 1. So from there, we go up 1 to the right and up 1 to the left. And then draw your parabola. Number 3. Let's try again. You should press pause and try it. But if you just want to follow, you can follow too. So ABC, I write down negative B over 2A, and I put in the numbers, and I solve it. So a negative times a negative is positive 2, 2 times 1, and then solve. And then draw a line there at 1. Y equals, where there's an x, put in 1. And then solve it. So 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. I would go 1 plus 3 and then subtract 2. And then you have the other number you need. So go up 2 on that red line. And then the last thing, A is equal to 1. So from here you go up 1 and then to the right and to the left. And then draw your parabola. All right, last one to practice like this. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 4, and C is equal to 6. Write down the formula negative B over 2A. Plug in 4 for B and 1 for A, and then solve. So it's negative 4 divided by 2. So that's negative 2. Find negative 2 and draw a line there. Write down y equals. Plug in negative 2 for x and solve. So that's 4. 4 times negative 2, so it's going to be 4 plus 6 is 10, and 10 take away 8. 2 is where I go to, right here. And then A is equal to 1, so I go up 1 and to the right and to the left, and then you draw your parabola. All right, these have parentheses. This is the indicator, parentheses, that this is in vertex form. So A is -2, H, you have to change the sign. So it's -3, and then K stays the same, it's -4. So -3 is the axis of symmetry. So find -3, draw a line there. And then K tells you where on this line. So go down to -4, and there it is. And the last thing we do is look for A. A is -2, so that means I go down 2 to the right and down 2 to the left, and then draw my graph. This is a little easier, right? So look for parentheses. So A is in front of the parentheses. H, you change the sign, so -1. That's where a line goes. And then K, the sign stays the same. That's -1. So on this, we go to -1. A is 1, so from here we go up 1 and to the right and to the left. These are counting by halves. That's why make sure you count by 1. And there's your graph. Turn the page. Again, I see parentheses. So A is equal to 2, H is equal to 2, K is equal to 4. So 2 is where I draw my axis of symmetry. 4 is where I go on that line for my vertex. And then A tells me to go up 2 and to the right one and to the left one, and then draw my parabola. All right, one more like this. A is equal to 2, H is equal to -3, and K is equal to -3. So start with -3. Draw your axis of symmetry there. On that line, we go to -3. There's a vertex. And then A is 2. So from here, we count up 2 to the right and up 2 to the left, and then draw a parabola. All right, next we're going to find the roots, which we're going to solve this equation. So in essence, we're making this equal to 0 and solving by graphing. And so we're going to start with -b over 2a. That's -8 over 2 times 1. Sorry, we should write down this and this. We might even use c. Well, c is off my graph. If that c value is on here, it would be on the y-axis. All right, -8. 2 times 1 is 2, so it's -8 divided by 2. So find where -4 is. I need to find the y value. So I plug -4 into the equation. So I write down -4 into the equation. So -4 times -4 is 16. This is -32. I would add the positive numbers first. So 16 plus 15 is 31. Take away 32, that's -1. So find -1. And then the a value is 1. So I go up 1 to the right and up 1 to the left and draw my parabola. My solutions are the numbers where it crosses the x-axis. So my answer is going to be -5 and -3. Those are my answers to this equation by graphing. I look where the x-intercepts are. So what numbers do they cross? And those are my answers. All right, number 10. We're going to start with -b. Sorry, a is 1, b is 8, 20 is way off my graph, so I'll just use those. -b over 2a, so that's -8, 2 times 1. To solve that, that's -4. Draw your line there. Y, we go -4 squared, and then 8 times -4 plus 20. So 20 plus 16 is 36. That answers 4. So find 4. A is +1, so that means we go up 1 and to the right, up 1 to the right. Where does this graph crosses the x-axis? And the answer is nowhere. It never crosses. It's pointing the wrong way. So because it never crosses the x-axis, we say there is no solution. All right, 2 left. A is 1, B is -4, and C is 3. We write down negative B over 2A. That is -4, 2 times 1, and then solve it. So our axis of symmetry is at 2. We're solving this. So 2 squared, -4 times 2. So 4 plus 3 is 7, and 7 take away 1 is -1. A is equal to 1, so I go up. Remember, these are counting by halves, so count up 1, and then to the right and to the left. Make sure you know you're counting by 1 on the scale. And then my answer are these x-intercepts. So we write down x equals, and that's 1 and 3. And those are your answers. And again, it solves this equation. So when you take this equation equal to 0, we solved it by graphing and finding the x-intercepts. Last one. I want to solve this equation by graphing. So I start with -b over 2a. We should really write down what a equals and what b equals. We can actually put c on our graph too, if it's helpful. So 5 isn't here, so that's not going to be helpful. Anyways, that's -6, 2 times 1. That's -6 divided by 2. That's -3. So draw our line at -3. Next, what does y equal? Use -3, so it's -3 squared plus 6 times -3 plus 5. Solve that. So -3 times -3, 6 times -3 plus 5. Add the positive numbers, 9 plus 5. And then how many more negatives do we have? So 14 take away 18, that's -4. All right, a is equal to +1. So I go up 1 to the right, up 1 to the right, left. This doesn't cross yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick -1 and see if the answer is 0. And then I can count the same direction the other side. So because this doesn't cross yet, I don't know exactly where, I'm going to pick the next number over, which is -1, and see if that gives me the answer 0, and put that on my graph. So -1 times -1, 6 times -1, and then plus 5. So 1 plus 5 is 6, and 6 take away 6 is 0. So I found one of my answers. What number makes the equation? I found one of them. From the red line, count 2 to the right, and then from the red line, count 2 to the left. So it's symmetric. That gives me the second answer. So these are my 2 answers. So I'm going to write down the answer. The answer is a -1, and the other answer is -5. And I solved that equation by finding the roots, the x-intercepts, the solutions. All right, Mr. G Math, over and out. Good luck on the test you're taking on graphing. I believe in you. You're going to do well. Thank you for doing your work. Till next time.